My friends, when we speak of outsmarting anyone, we must first ask ourselves, what does it truly mean to be wise? For in the hearts of many, outsmarting is mistaken for outshouting, or overpowering, or outmaneuvering. But let me tell you now, true intelligence does not boast. It does not raise its voice. It does not need to proclaim its victories. It watches, it listens, and it waits. The one who is truly wise carries their mind like a quiet river, deep, still, and powerful, but never loud. You see, there is a great strength in listening. In our world today, people speak quickly. They speak to be heard. But the truly smart man or woman listens to understand. When someone speaks in anger, the listener sees the wound behind the words. When someone speaks with pride, the listener sees the insecurity hidden beneath the noise. When someone speaks in silence, the listener knows how to wait, not to fill the silence with their own voice, but to respect the space where truth may grow. And so, the first and most powerful step to outsmart anyone is not to talk more, but to listen better. Let others reveal their minds, their patterns, their fears, and their desires. The person who listens with care learns the map of the other's soul, while the one who always speaks only hears the echo of their own voice. Knowledge gained from quiet observation is often more valuable than 100 loud declarations. When we walk into a room, we must never rush to show our intelligence. Do not be the one who tries to prove how much they know. Be the one who asks questions that invite others to reveal what they do not yet see in themselves. A question is more dangerous than an answer. It disarms, it opens, it makes people feel seen, and when someone feels seen, they often give away more than they intend. Not because you tricked them, but because your humility allowed their guard to fall. True intelligence is not performance. It is not a game of chess played in public. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows they do not need to win every argument, because their understanding runs deeper than the noise of the moment. It is choosing to walk away from a fight when your silence will say more than your words ever could. It is the strength to let others feel victorious, while you hold the real victory in your calm and clarity. I have sat with leaders who held the fate of millions in their hands. Some were loud, some were clever. But the ones who truly moved nations were those who spoke with quiet force, who looked you in the eye and made you feel that they understood you because they had listened, not just to you, but to the world. And because they listened, they knew when to speak, how to speak, and what to say when the moment truly mattered. There is a wisdom in restraint. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is nothing at all. Just watch, wait, and let others reveal themselves. Let them rush forward. Let them speak without thought. Let them act in haste. You will see the truth of a person not when they are calm, but when they believe no one is watching. The observer sees the whole picture, and when you finally do speak, your words will carry weight, because they are born from patience and perspective. So let no one confuse arrogance with brilliance. The smartest person in the room is often the quietest. They are not afraid of appearing small, because they understand that every word spoken carries value. And value is not in how much you say, but in how much you see. Pride is loud, wisdom is quiet, and when the wise speak, the world leans in, because truth does not beg for attention. It earns it through clarity and calm. So, if you wish to outsmart anyone, start not with how much you know, but with how well you listen. Let humility guide you, let silence serve you, and let patience sharpen your insight. because the one who listens deeply will always know more than the one who only speaks. If you ever wish to truly outsmart anyone, you must begin with yourself. It is a lesson learned not in books, not in debates, but in quiet moments of struggle, in facing the mirror when no one else is watching. Outsmarting others, you see, is not first a matter of intellect. It is a matter of discipline, of character, of mastering the voices inside you before you ever engage with the voices outside. The most dangerous opponent we will ever face is not another person, but the untamed version of ourselves. The self that acts from fear, that lashes out from pride, that makes decisions driven by anger or insecurity. If you cannot conquer that self, no amount of cleverness will bring you peace, and no strategy will save you when pressure mounts. It is not your enemy's plans that will defeat you. It is your own undisciplined reaction to them. A mind that is not centered becomes a storm. You may have the sharpest ideas, but if they are carried on winds of ego or panic, they will scatter. You may have the cleverest strategy, but if your emotions pull you in every direction, you will lose the path. But when you are anchored, when you have faced your fears, acknowledged your weaknesses, and still stood firm, then you become a force that is not easily shaken. To master yourself is to learn patience when your blood demands haste. It is to stay silent when your pride demands you speak. It is to keep your course when others mock you, and to remain kind when others are cruel. This is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Because anyone can lash out, anyone can react, but it takes true power to choose your response not just to others, but to your own doubts, your own anger, your own pride. We all carry within us two voices, the one that seeks wisdom and the one that seeks approval, the one that asks, what is right, and the one that asks, what will make me look strong? Outsmarting others begins when you stop performing for them, when you no longer act from the fear of looking small or the desire to look important. When your actions are shaped by principle, not impulse, then you become steady. And in a world where most people are driven by reaction, steadiness is power. Some believe that control over others is strength, but I say control over yourself is the true mark of intelligence. Because when you master yourself, no one can manipulate you. They may insult you, but they cannot provoke you. They may lie about you, but they cannot break your calm. They may outtalk you in a room, but they will never outlast your resolve. And that, more than any witty remark or fast move, is how you win the deeper game. I have seen clever people destroy themselves because they could not walk away from a fight. I have seen powerful men lose everything because they could not resist the need to prove themselves. It is not the enemy that exposes them. It is their own need to be seen as strong, their own inability to hold their fire, their own refusal to sit with discomfort. But those who master themselves, who know when to hold back, when to wait, when to walk away, they are never truly out of position. So ask yourself, what drives you? Is it the need to win every exchange? Or is it the need to remain true to your values, your vision, your peace of mind? Because the smartest among us are not those who conquer the most people. They are the ones who conquer the most difficult terrain within. When you stand before a challenge, check your heart before you check your strategy. Is your mind clear? Is your motive clean? Are you responding to truth or reacting to fear? If you can answer those questions with honesty, then no matter what others do, they cannot take you off your path. You are not playing their game. You are walking your own. To outsmart anyone, you must first make sure that your actions are not simply a response to them. Be led by purpose, not provocation. Be guided by vision, not ego. Let your emotions serve your mind, not rule it. Because the one who rules themselves stands taller than the one who rules others. And in that quiet inner victory, where you rise above the chaos of your own urges, you become unshakable. That is the intelligence no one can fake. There is a kind of wisdom that cannot be taught in schools or sharpened through books. It is not found in debate halls or boardrooms. It grows in the quiet places of the heart where we learn to feel what others feel, to understand what others carry, even when they cannot speak it. This, my friends, is empathy. And if you wish to outsmart anyone not through force or trickery, but through lasting influence, you must first learn to walk gently in the world of another. You see, the clever man studies people. The wise man feels them. And it is the one who feels who will always see more. Because facts tell you what is happening, but empathy tells you why. It reveals the pain beneath the anger, the fear beneath the pride, the story behind the silence. And once you see that, once you understand what moves people at their core, you no longer need to push them. You can lead them. Empathy is not softness. It is strategy of the highest order, because when you understand people, you can predict them. You can guide their choices, not by controlling them, but by offering them what they already long for: respect, dignity, hope. The person who feels seen will lower their guard. The one who feels safe will listen. The one who feels understood will follow, even if they don't fully agree. That is how change begins, not in arguments, but in connection. Too often, people think outsmarting others is about hiding your cards, waiting for the perfect moment to win. But sometimes the strongest move is to open your hand, to show your humanity, to invite theirs to rise in return. People are not puzzles to be solved. They are hearts to be understood. And when you treat them with that kind of care, they will often give you more than you ever could have taken. It takes great strength to slow down and see another person not as a rival or obstacle, but as someone with their own wounds, their own hopes, their own journey. And in doing that, you create a space where truth can rise between you, not as a weapon, but as a bridge. That is how you outsmart not just a person, but the conflict itself. That is how you disarm a hardened heart without raising your voice. When you walk into any room, you must remember, every person you meet is carrying something you cannot see. Some are weighed down by grief. Some are afraid of being forgotten. Some are desperate to prove their worth. And if you can look past the surface, if you can speak not just to their mind, but to that quiet place inside them that longs to be acknowledged, then you will have their ear, their trust, and perhaps even their loyalty. But empathy is not always easy. It means setting aside your assumptions. It means listening even when it hurts. It means choosing to understand someone even when you do not agree with them. And that takes courage, because once you begin to feel what others feel, you will carry more. But in that weight is wisdom, and in that wisdom is your strength. I have watched people change not because they were defeated, but because they were understood. I have seen stubborn hearts soften not through argument, but through compassion. And in those moments I learned something. People rarely remember what you said, but they always remember how you made them feel. And if you make them feel seen, even just once, you will leave an imprint that no clever tactic ever could. Empathy gives you access to people's truths, and when you have their truth, you no longer need to guess their next move. You already know what they fear, what they need, what they seek to protect, and you do not need to exploit that truth. You need only respect it. Because once you respect it, you begin to speak not to the mask they wear, but to the person beneath it. And that, my friends, is where real influence lies. So if you truly want to outsmart anyone, do not seek to overpower them. Seek to understand them. For the mind follows the heart, and if you can touch the heart, the mind will listen. When you lead with empathy, you lead without resistance. And in a world full of noise and division, that is a quiet kind of power that cannot be denied. That is how hearts are won. There is a truth we often miss in our rush to prove ourselves. Many believe that to outsmart someone, you must outshine them, be louder, faster, more impressive. They think success is measured in applause or recognition, that the brightest light is always the one that gets seen. But real power, lasting power, is not found in standing above others. It is found in knowing when to let others rise, even if it means standing quietly behind them. To outsmart someone is not to make them feel small. It is to make them feel strong while you guide the outcome with grace. The truly wise know this. Influence is greater than visibility. You do not need to be the loudest voice in the room to lead it. You do not need to take credit to shape the course. In fact, sometimes the greatest act of intelligence is allowing someone else to believe the idea was theirs, allowing them to shine while you hold the torch just out of sight. Too many fall into the trap of needing to be seen as the smartest, the most powerful, the most capable. They chase validation, not victory. But the cleverest minds understand that ego is the enemy of strategy. The more you seek to prove your worth, the more you reveal your need, and the more you reveal your need, the easier it is for others to read you, to use you, to steer you off course. When you no longer need to be admired, you become unshakable, because your focus is no longer on the stage, it's on the outcome. True intelligence does not compete, it collaborates, it lifts others, even when it knows it could have taken the spotlight. It plays the long game, not the loud game. Sometimes the best way to win is to let others win. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to know the victory does not have to be yours alone. If a goal is reached, does it matter whose name is on the banner? If peace is achieved, does it matter who gets the credit? I have sat with people who thought they had won simply because they spoke last, or shouted the loudest, or left with all the attention. And I watched quietly, knowing they had only won the moment, not the movement. Because the one who understands people, who steers conversations, who sees 10 steps ahead, but does not rush to show it, that person is leading even when others don't know it yet. It is a quiet kind of brilliance to make someone feel powerful in your presence, knowing all along that you are shaping the path without stepping in front of them. You do not need to take the credit. Let them have the stage. Let them feel the applause. And when they walk away believing they succeeded on their own, they will remember you not with envy, but with gratitude. That is the mark of influence, not domination, but dignity. You cannot teach this in a classroom. It is something you come to understand through humility, through patience, through the wisdom of knowing what really matters. It is not about being right. It is about doing right. It is not about proving your genius. It is about using it in ways that build rather than break, that unite rather than divide, that serve rather than control. When you no longer need to be the sun, you can become the wind, the force that moves things quietly, powerfully, and often unseen. That is where the true strategist lives, not in the glare of recognition, but in the calm certainty that the game is unfolding exactly as they intended, even if no one ever knows their name. So when the temptation comes to argue, to correct, to impress, pause. Ask yourself, is this about progress, or is this about pride? Is this about achieving something, or is it about being seen achieving it? Because the person who knows their purpose, who trusts their wisdom, does not need to be seen to be strong. They do not outshine others, they outlast them. If you wish to outsmart anyone, learn how to disappear from the spotlight while your impact remains. Let others rise, let others shine. Let them believe they are leading if it brings peace, if it brings unity, if it brings results. And in doing so, you will win something far greater than applause. You will win trust. You will win influence. You will win without ever needing to say you did. That is how history is moved.